Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. All right. Good evening, bonsoir. Guests, would you please rise and join me in welcoming the Honorable Brenda Murphy, Lieutenant Governor of New Brunswick, and Her Honor Linda Boyle. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous lever et vous joindre à moi pour accueillir l'honorable Brenda Murphy, Lieutenant-gouverneur du Nouveau-Brunswick, et son honneur Linda Boyle. You may sit. Good evening and welcome to the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation's 2024 Scholarship Celebration. We are so excited that you are all here this evening. My name is Nicole Leblanc. I am a pediatrician and the Deputy Registrar at the College of Physicians and Surgeons of New Brunswick. It is my great pleasure to join you as tonight's Masters of Ceremonies. Bienvenue à tous et à toutes, à tous nos participants et à nos amis et grands donateurs. Une belle soirée nous attend ce soir. As we begin, let us acknowledge that the land we are on is the unceded territory of Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqey, and Passamaquoddy people. As we just finished Thanksgiving weekend, and we're with our families to say thank you and be grateful, let us give thanks to the land we all call home. Let me now introduce our hosts. Will the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation's Board of Directors and staff members please stand? Je vous les présente. Please stand, all together. Dr. Thomas Berry, Carol Chapman, Michael Doyle, Dr. Bob Fisher, Dr. Jennifer Hall, David Hustis, Nora Kelly, Ed Keys, Nora Mallory, Don Mitchner, Dr. Jim O'Brien, Dr. Sam Palmer, Dr. Michael Simon, and Dr. Manju Varma. Also welcome from the Foundation, Alisa Long, the Executive Director, Natalie Boyce, Student and Alumni Relations, and David Ryan, Fundraising Manager. So before we get underway, I have a few housekeeping notes to share. First, please take a moment to locate the nearest exit in case of an emergency. You will also notice that there's a camera crew present. This evening is being live streamed to the Foundation's Facebook and YouTube pages. This is part of an initiative to ensure tonight's ceremony is accessible to as many New Brunswickers as possible. Thank you, all of you, for being here to celebrate an exceptional cohort of future healthcare providers. Aucune des activités de ce soir ne serait possible sans nos grands donateurs, dont beaucoup sont présents ici ce soir. Merci. Your generosity has provided so many of these students with the confidence, motivation, and financial security to pursue their dreams and make a difference in the lives of others. So now please join me in welcoming the Honorable Brenda Murphy, Lieutenant-gouverneur of New Brunswick, to deliver tonight's official welcome. Nous souhaitons la bienvenue à l'honorable Brenda Murphy, Lieutenant-gouverneur du Nouveau-Brunswick, qui prononcera le discours d'ouverture.
Merci, Nicole. Bonsoir à tous. Good evening. Je suis ravie d'être parmi vous ce soir pour le gala de remise des bourses d'études de la Fondation d'Éducation Médicale du Nouveau-Brunswick. I'm delighted to be here with you this evening for the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation 2024 Scholarship Gala. I will confess I was not aware of the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation and had a visit with Alyssa a few months ago and heard about the work that is being done, and I've just been so impressed with that and so very grateful for the work that you're doing, and thank you very much for including me here this evening. In New Brunswick and throughout Canada, healthcare is a fundamental right, and many of us take great pride in the fact that New Brunswickers of all backgrounds and of all incomes have access to universal healthcare. It's reassuring to know that any call to a family doctor or a trip to the emergency room will be treated without discrimination. And while our healthcare system is not perfect, the doctors, nurses, support staff, and administrators who treat New Brunswickers are community pillars who provide the best possible care to their patients. Les médecins ont un impact important sur le quotidien des gens de Nouveau-Brunswick de tous les horizons. Les professionnels de la santé doivent avoir accès aux ressources et aux outils requis pour bien desservir la population. Dans un marché de travail compétitif au sein duquel les médecins disposent de plusieurs options, nous devons éliminer les obstacles qui s'imposent devant les jeunes de Nouveau-Brunswick qui veulent se lancer en médecin. Our province's greatest strength will always be its people, and I'm grateful that the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation and generous donors are investing in New Brunswickers by recruiting our future community healthcare leaders. It's so much easier to retain physicians who have established connections and attachment to the region in which they work. Je suis reconnaissante envers les personnes de la Fondation d'Éducation Médicale de Nouveau-Brunswick, ainsi que tous les donateurs qui permettent aux futurs médecins de poursuivre leurs rêves et d'atteindre leurs objectifs. Je vous souhaite des bonnes études et j'ai hâte de vous revoir au Nouveau-Brunswick. To all the future doctors being honored today, I can assure you that you will have a significant impact on the well-being and the quality of life of New Brunswickers. I wish you all the best in the completion of your studies, and thank you for your commitment to practice medicine in your home province. Merci beaucoup.
Tonight would not be possible without our generous sponsors, Mrs. and Mr. Fay and David Hustis, AstraZeneca, RBC, Envision St. John, NAAS Immigration Services, MD Financial Management, Wells Private Wealth Management, the Community of Creative Citizens, and Joel McKinley, Exit Realty Specialist. As our ceremony sponsors this evening, please welcome Mr. and Mrs. David Hustis to the stage.
If we look surprised, we are. Anyhow, thank you very much for all of you for being here. Thank you to all of you who have contributed. There are many opportunities for us to contribute to many worthwhile projects. But I think we'd all agree that to the New Brunswick medical doctors who in training and those that are here today, we owe a deep debt of gratitude, and we really appreciate all you do. And despite the fact that the press seems to not always appreciate what's done, we do appreciate, and anybody who has been a part of your network know that well. And you can't believe everything you hear, and believe me that what you people do each and every day, and those of you that are coming on in the future and be working with the people, we do appreciate as New Brunswick citizens all the studying you've done and all the time and the effort you place in helping us live in one of the best places in the world. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Eustace. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Michael Simon, co-chair of the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation.
So it's great to see such a great audience here. We're getting better and bigger every year. So good evening to each and every one of you. I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. On behalf of the executive, on behalf of the board and staff, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our foundation's annual scholarship gala. My name is Dr. Michael Simon, and I'm proud to be co-chair of this wonderful foundation. Unfortunately, my other co-chair, Nora Kelly, couldn't be here tonight, but on her behalf as well as mine, I'd like to wish all the scholarship recipients congratulations, and that goes for everyone here and online. To the donors and guests, I'd like to welcome you and also thank you for coming here tonight. Before we dive into the proper proceedings, I'd like to share a few thoughts with you about our mission and our vision. I've been a family doctor in St. John for 36 years now and counting, and have seen firsthand the challenges that both patients and providers face in our current healthcare system. Providing timely, quality medical care is difficult, both for patients and for physicians. Doctors work extended hours, patients have long waits, and it's difficult for those patients to get that needed care when they need it most at that time. Our province has seen its share of healthcare problems. The New Brunswick Medical Society estimates that right now there are about 180,000 New Brunswickers without a family doctor. And with the current age, that being 49 for physicians in general, both specialists and family doctors, that's only going to get worse. We anticipate there's going to be an exodus in the form of retirements in the next 10 to 15 years. So the numbers will only get a little worse. I, for one, am constantly being asked to take on patients, no matter where we go, as are all my colleagues. Doesn't matter if you're in a restaurant or a hockey rink or walking down the street. Yeah, there's somebody who needs a family doctor. You have to just look around the room and say, hey, how many people here have a family member or friend who doesn't have that family doctor? And those that do, what would you do if you lost him or her? How would you access care? After-hours clinics, waiting for a long time in the emergency room? It doesn't get any easier. We witness a struggle all the time. 4 of my colleagues retired in the last few months. These are guys who I worked the last 35, 36 years with, delivering babies and spending time doing shifts in the emergency room on Saturday nights or Christmas Eves. Worked nursing homes with, covered their practices when they snuck off for a course or a vacation. And of those 4, only one managed to get a family doctor to replace him. So that leaves another 6,000 patients who are now on the patient registry. So it'll probably get worse with the demographics, looking at us older physicians as we gradually slow down. But there is a solution, and this is the solution, the foundation. In 2010, the Medical Education Foundation gave out 4 scholarships. Fast forward to this year, where we're giving out a total of 144 scholarships worth over $1.1 million. So congratulations for that. So what does that mean? Well, it means this. There's about 150 years of pledged service. It means quality medical care for more New Brunswickers. In my simple way of looking at that, I see 5 full-time family doctors practicing in New Brunswick for life. That is a heck of an accomplishment in 1 year here, plus last year, plus year before, plus next year. It gets even better. And with that in mind, I cannot say enough about the donors who made this happen. You know, there are so many great charities that we can work for, and they do so many good things to help our community and help people's lives. But this foundation, when you support it, it's not for 1 year, it's not for 2 years, it's for the life of a practicing physician and all the patients they're going to see and touch and affect in that life of practicing. So that's a heck of a return of an investment. So that's a good thing. Last year, the foundation published, first time, an economic impact report that confirmed what we already know, that investing in healthcare and delivering quality medical service benefits not just the patients, not just the physicians, but also the community. I'm going to throw a couple numbers at you just to prove that point. In a 10-year period, a single practicing family doctor operating in one community will generate over $2.8 million towards the provincial tax revenue. Will generate $130,000 to the municipal tax revenue. It will boost household spending by $1.6 million. It will create an average of 3.2 full-time jobs over that period. And more importantly, that physician will see approximately 8,000 patients. That's one practicing doctor. And how many scholarships are we giving out tonight? So our foundation presents a unique solution to physician recruitment, raising funds to provide scholarships to students who stay and practice in this province. This is a unique, homegrown entity. There's no comparable organization in Canada, first of its kind here. It's a system that lets everyone win. Our future doctors over here, our donors over here, and everybody in between. It means a great deal to existing physicians like myself to know that our practices and our patients will be in good hands going forward, because there will be somebody take over my practice, unlike the 3 of my colleagues who retired. For the patients, they will receive ongoing quality, good quality care, as well as, which is almost as important, peace of mind. My office in Milledgeville has a number of new doctors in there. Dr. David Gadet, Dr. Robert Hanlon, Dr. Taryn O'Neill, just to name a few. They're all alumni of this organization, and they were in the same position as our students a few years ago. And now they're on course to become medical leaders, just like the students will be. So just before I conclude, I would be remiss if I didn't say a few comments about the wonderful people that work with me on the board, who donate their expertise and time, and more importantly in many respects, our 3 musketeers of staff, Alyssa, David, and Natalie, who do tremendous work day in and day out. They're raising the profile of the foundation. They've talked to the government, provincial government, they're talking to municipal governments, they're talking to companies and entrepreneurs like many people here, and they've increased our base, they've increased our awareness. Just for those of you who don't know, the organization just received the Franklin Chamber of Commerce Award for Business. We're also being nominated for St. John. These are all positive steps, and it comes on the backs of the 3 musketeers' hard work. So, I want to say thank you one last time to all the donors and students and family and friends and supporters of the foundation. Congratulations to the students, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful evening. Thank you for your time.
Medicine is the greatest profession. As previous speakers have noted, we have a record number of scholarships to award tonight. Afin d'éviter les embouteillages, nous invitons nos étudiants et nos donateurs à suivre notre petit processus. So as we move into the awards portion of the evening, will Dr. Simon please join me back on stage to greet each recipient. Students, when your name is called, please make your way to the stage. Chaque étudiant, s'il est présent, est invité à monter sur scène pour recevoir son prix. After receiving your certificate, please make your way to the donor's corner, right there, to greet the donor of your award if they are present and to have a picture taken. I also invite the scholarship owners, the donors or representatives of each scholarship fund, if you are present, to make your way to the donor corner as well, as your award is called, to congratulate this year's extraordinary recipients. Now, ready? Set? Let's go. All right, AstraZeneca Medical Scholarship. Daniel Smith, Jun Guo. Bell Alliant Medical Education Scholarship in memory of Dr. David Craig, Connor Simon. Bud and Rita Craig and Doctors Ron, Don, David, Brian, Medical Education Bursary, Jasmine Eng. And we will note that some are not present today because we know that the medical curriculum can be a bit overcharged sometimes, but there are a lot of the recipients that are actually participating online this evening. So. City of Bathurst Medical Education Scholarship, Gabrielle Gionnet, Pascal Plourde-Roussel. City of Dieppe Medical Education Scholarship, Catalina Sek. Katerina Sek. College of Physicians and Surgeons Medical Education Scholarship, Adrien Boutiaoui, Amelia Mazerol, Cameron Crowell, Caroline Ouellette, and Dustin McKee. As I can do a lot of multitasking, but can't do two things at once, I'm also going to be taking the picture with you, but we'll do it at the end. Congratulations. We also had in that same category, Mila Veljanowska, Rick Rushton, and Sheridan Hamilton. David and Faye Hustis Scholarship, Whitney Shannon. Don and Jane Mitchner Medical Education Scholarship, Taylor Wilson, first year. Dr. Norman Gary Memorial Medical Education Scholarship, Kate Palmer. Dr. Donald A. Craig Medical Education Bursary, Kendra Ebao. Dr. Richard V. Snow Medical Education Bursary, Lauren Ashfield. Envision St. John Medical Education Bursary, Matt Douglas and Dustin McKee. Can't we feel all the brain power in the room? The Friends of the Moncton Hospital Foundation Medical Education Scholarship, Corinne Brideau, Feng Li, and Grace Lafferty. Have some fan clubs. The Greater Miramichi Medical Education Scholarship, Robert Logie. The Hatchet and Nicholas Medical Education Scholarship, Heather Leake. The Horizon Health Network Medical Education Scholarship, Caroline Gagnon and Emily Weston. The John and Jillian Wallace Medical Education Scholarship, Sebastien Hubbard. Congratulations. The Ken and Holly Singh Tandy Medical Education Scholarship, Sadaf Anjum. Now, our next award is one I want you to know a little bit more about. Last winter, a longtime volunteer patient with Dalhousie Medicine, New Brunswick, approached the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation looking to fulfill a lifelong dream, to set up a scholarship at the same time, this is an emotional one, to give back to the profession that has made such an impact on her life as she battled a chronic heart condition. Laura Hayward was kind, compassionate, and left a mark on foundation staff when she came into the office knowing exactly the terms of the award she hoped to create. In her own words, I have had the pleasure of working with many of the students at Dalhousie Medicine, New Brunswick, as a volunteer and simulated patient. I believe in them and want to support their education in any way I can. Laura passed away on June 25th, but we believe she would be so happy to see the Laura Hayward Medical Education Scholarship awarded tonight for the first time to Megan McCarthy. While Megan can't be here tonight, I invite Laura's family, if you're willing, to come to the door in the corner to present the award to Dr. Simon, and Alyssa will accept it on behalf of Megan's behalf. In medicine, we have the privilege to touch so many families. And when I say privilege, it's truly a privilege. The Margaret and Wallace McCain Early Childhood Development Fund, Julia Bent. The New Brunswick Medical Society Scholarship, Lina El-Kwadi. The New Brunswick Scholarship Education Fund for Emerging Physicians, Adam Beckett, Adria Pena, Felix Leblanc, and Katerina Levsky. The Province of New Brunswick Medical Education Scholarship, Cynthia Léger, Catherine Bossé, Katie Bonner, and Mansa Agbaku. The RBC Foundation Medical Education Scholarship, Julia Short and Luke McDonald. The Regional Development Corporation Medical Education Scholarship, Adam Duguay and Amy Dodge. The Robert R. McCain Memorial Education Scholarship, Danielle Deschamps. The Scotiabank and MD Financial Management Medical Education Scholarship, Mohamed Munir Beljalili. The Sir James Dunn Medical Bursary, Alison Cook, Caitlin Gowlett, Mackenzie Moore, and Reagan O'Leary. So you have to apologize. I have to apologize if sometimes I don't have the right intonation, because I'm Francophone and I'm trying to read them as if Francophone and Anglophone. I'm doing good, not too bad? Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I get your names right. So, the Sisters of Charity of the Immaculate Conception Medical Education Bursary, Madison Harrington. The Tantramar Medical Education Scholarship, Syed Ahmed. The TD Bank Toronto Dominion Bank Medical Education Scholarships, Abdel Sliman and Alexis Ouellet. The Burton W. Hustis Memorial Medical Education Scholarship, Samuel Megaw. The Dr. Frank and Audrey Wanamaker Medical Scholarship, Hera Sadia. The Dr. Gillis and Dr. Williams Medical Education Bursary, Amy Dodge. The Dr. H. Miller McSween Memorial Advanced Medical Education Scholarship, Okrogene Atakiru. Did I pronounce that? Hope he didn't. I pronounced it okay. The Dr. Hendrik and Wanda Toning Medical Scholarship, Morgan Stevens. The Dr. Isaac Kaler Fair Advanced Medical Education Scholarship, Mary Foley. The Dr. Paul and Gail Sohi and Family Medical Education Scholarship, Jacob Stillwell. The Dr. Sorab Lutch Medical Medial Legacy Scholarship, Bilal Khan. The Future Physicians of New Brunswick Medical Education Scholarships, Arib Jafrani, Eve Justason, Francis Winters, Geneviève Como, and Jeremy Cyr. The Future Physicians of Tantramar Medical Education Scholarship, Syed Ahmed. Back again. The G. William McQuaid Memorial Scholarship, Hannah Grossman. The Greater St. John Community Foundation Medical Education Scholarship, Jade Rourke. The Knights of Columbus Medical Education Scholarship, Megan McCarthy. The New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation Scholarship, Chantel McCracken. The Pat Dara Memorial Medical Education Scholarship, Milia Ademundi. The Steves Family Medical Education Scholarship, Taylor Wilson. Fourth year, yeah. I think there's a Taylor Wilson first year and fourth year. This one's fourth year. The Walter and Joan Flewelling Memorial Medical Education Scholarship, Ellen Dow. The Tim Cameron Memorial Scholarship, Madeline Power. The Town of Riverview Medical Education Scholarship, Hannah Grossman and Josiane Stadler. The Town of Rothsay Medical Education Scholarship, Patrick Butler. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Straight Shores Medical Education Scholarship, which the foundation was not able to be awarded this year. This award is intended for a nurse practitioner student planning to practice in the Straight Shore, formerly Port Elgin, region following graduation. Nous espérons voir un bénéficiaire l'année prochaine. So that concludes the first half of this evening's scholarship presentations, representing more than 500,000 in tuition relief. Let's have another round of applause for these wonderful recipients. Félicitations. So we'll take a short break now to hear from two of our 2024 recipients. Please welcome to the stage AstraZeneca representative, our presenting sponsor, to introduce our two student speakers. Danielle is here somewhere.
Hi, everyone. Nicole's never had patience with me. I used to coach her son. She's never had patience with me, so it took me a while to get to the stage. So thanks so much, everybody. I'm so pleased to be here on behalf of AstraZeneca. My name's Dan Fougere. I'm the Senior Manager of Strategic Partnerships with the company. And I've been with the company for 20 years now. And I was saying to Nicole earlier, you know, we're a big company. We have our comms department, and they write all these nice speeches out for us. And but I think I'll probably just speak from the heart instead of talking about all this corporate type speak. I've been with the company for a long time, and I sat here a year ago in the back of the room over there, just really blown away about how much this has grown over the last number of years. I had a chance to witness the Czech presentation that we made probably about 14 or 15 years ago now at the St. John Regional Hospital, and to sit back in the room, to see the impact, to see the additional donors that have come on board, to see the province of New Brunswick, and to see the impact on all the students here, and to how much pride that you all should have and your family should have in you being here. Investing yourselves in healthcare at such an important time, I think, is so meaningful and cool. I actually, on my way home, sent a message to the folks who were involved with AstraZeneca, who are no longer here now with us, with our company, to tell them, you know, how great they should feel about that initial donation that we made years ago and that we continue to do year over year. So very thankful to have you here, that you guys have me here today. Congratulations to all the recipients of the awards tonight. And with that, I'll go with the introduction. So two really impressive students here they'll be coming up very shortly here. So the first one is not Jade, Nicole, it's Jade Rourke. Jade Rourke. She's Dalhousie Medicine, New Brunswick, class of 2026. And she's from Mundellville, New Brunswick. I wasn't sure if Mundellville was a place, so I Googled it. It's a place. It's a place. Trust me, it's near Rexton somewhere. It's up that way. So Jade is a third-year medical student. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Biopsychology from the University of New Brunswick. That wasn't enough. She decided to go have a Master's of Science in Speech and Language Pathology from Dalhousie. And upon graduation, she hopes to do a residency in family medicine. Jade dedicates her time to children with speech sound delays and phonological processing disorders through her volunteer work with the Family and Child Education Program. That's not enough. Outside of that, she still has time to do other things like curling and scuba diving. So we'll welcome her in just a moment. With her, they'll be joining her will be Jeff Gresso. Hopefully I got that right, Jeff. Oh, thanks for the validation. That's good. Jeff is attending University of Sherbrooke, class of 2028. He's from Moncton, just down the street from me. Jeff is a first-year medical student, holds a diploma in nursing from Cégep of Gaspé, and a diploma of health sciences from the University of Moncton. Upon graduation, he as well hopes to do residency in family medicine. Jeff isn't new to healthcare, though. He's been working as a nurse for the past 8 years for many organizations, such as Shanix, Villa du Repos, Villa Providence. He's currently volunteering as well for local organizations that aid in distributing meals to the homeless. Notably, they both have young families as well, and so pretty impressive two individuals. So welcome to the stage, and I'll say a few words.
So good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to be here. For those that are in person, as well as those listening online, we really appreciate the support. But I especially want to thank those members and contributors of the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation for not only putting on this event, but who fund and distribute these scholarships that we're all so thankful for. Your support means more than my words tonight will be able to say. But that's what I'm hoping to talk to you all about tonight: support. Encouragement and the belief that success is possible is why we're all standing here today. Growing up, we all had dreams of who we wanted to be and what we wanted to become, and I, like many others in this room, dreamt of being in healthcare. But the first time that I can really remember reflecting and deciding that I wanted to be a physician was actually after a frightful event at home. So my youngest sister, who's 10 years my junior, was just born and brought home from hospital. She was 3 days old and doing really well, and my mother put her in her bassinet to sleep. And when she checked on her a few minutes later, she wasn't breathing. She wasn't pink, she wasn't blue, but she was black. My parents called an ambulance, which didn't end up coming. As you've heard, I'm from Mundellville, which is a very remote community here in New Brunswick. So my father put my mother and sister in the car, and he proceeded to drive the hour commute to the Moncton City Hospital. And the whole while, my mother was giving CPR to my sister. And they arrived in the ER, and they were able to resuscitate her. And I'm very happy to say that this year she's graduating from the University of Fredericton with her Bachelor of Arts. This would be a very different story if it wasn't for my mother. She was a medical professional, she's a registered nurse, and her knowledge and skills and abilities is why Rice is alive today. So, thank you. The applause is really for her. I was in awe of my mother then, and I still am today, and she was my original role model. She was the first person that believed in me when I said I wanted to become a doctor. And growing up in the impossibly small town that I did means that some people have certain ideas and opinions of what people are capable of. We're not exposed to a lot of different employment opportunities growing up in small towns, and medicine isn't one that you see often. So when I told people that I wanted to be a doctor, it did fall flat. And not that I blame them, because it is a big ambition. Not very many make this cut, and we should all be very proud of ourselves for sitting here today. But over time, that doubt creeps into you as well, and it creeped into me, and I was beginning to wonder if it was possible. If a girl from middle of nowhere, New Brunswick, could really achieve that dream of becoming a doctor. And that's when I was met with a new kind of support. Her name is Christina, and many of you know her as Dr. Christina Cameron, who's a family doctor here in St. John. She grew up in my hometown of Mundellville, just down the road from me, and she was a member of the first class of Dalhousie Medicine New Brunswick here in St. John. And at my high school graduation, she awarded me my very first scholarship. So seeing a girl from the middle of nowhere, New Brunswick, grow up to become everything that I hoped to be was empowering. And she really made me believe that this was possible. So she gave me that new kind of support and a new role model to look up to. So years later, when I received my acceptance letter for DMNB, I was floored. I felt the excitement and the nervousness and the anxiety, and imposter syndrome is very alive and very real, and it was very present in me. And I was lucky to have the support of my husband telling me that it was something I was capable of and it was something that I needed to do, despite spending years in school previously. But he also supported and was supposed to love me no matter what, and no matter how deluded I was. So, I took that with a grain of salt. But those feelings of apprehension, they grew larger and larger as that first day of med school grew closer. My anxiety grew, and it felt like this physical being sitting on my chest. But there was one thing that really curbed my trepidation, and it was a phone call from the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation, and they were awarding me a scholarship, the Greater St. John Community Foundation Medical Education Scholarship. And I had to sit down, because not only were they helping me financially, which is beyond required, they were recruiting me, and they wanted me to be here when I was done. They were hoping that I would stay in New Brunswick, where I was hoping to raise my family regardless. But I felt this new kind of support, a support through building a community of future physicians who are passionate about healthcare in New Brunswick, to be surrounded by other people who are from these rural and remote areas in New Brunswick, who had deep roots in their communities and wanted to make things better. A support system through this amazing organization and the incredible people who donate to help support us through these difficult financial and emotional times. So I think I speak for everybody here when I say from the bottom of my heart, we thank you. To thank you to everybody who supported anybody here, whether that be in the past, currently, or hereafter, whether that be through these very important donations, through mentorship, or just kind words, because none of us would be here without it. Thank you.
Bonsoir à tous. Donc, tout d'abord, j'aimerais remercier la Fondation médicale du Nouveau-Brunswick pour ce privilège justement d'avoir ces quelques mots ce soir. Donc, c'est un honneur pour moi justement d'être entouré ce soir de personnes qui valorisent et qui soutiennent justement les étudiants en médecine de la province. Donc, pour ma part, je me présente, je m'appelle Jeff Gressot. Je suis étudiant en médecine à l'Université Sherbrooke, au Centre de formation médicale du Nouveau-Brunswick. Bien entendu, le chemin vers la médecine est distinctif à chacun. Pour moi, je vous dirais que ça a été quelque chose de progressif. Donc, très tôt, justement, durant ma jeunesse, j'étais toujours intéressé par le domaine, l'aspect humain des soins de santé, je vous dirais. Et cela m'a permis justement de m'orienter justement vers des études, en d'autres mots, en soins infirmiers, dont une profession que j'ai chérie et je continue toujours à chérir jusqu'à présent, même pendant mes études. Et un jour, justement, en pratique, j'ai pu assister à une réunion multidisciplinaire. Et j'ai fini par comprendre à ce moment-là, très tôt durant ma carrière, que justement, être médecin, ce n'est pas seulement de prescrire des médicaments, mais c'est aussi de faire preuve de leadership, d'empathie, de compassion, être l'avocat du patient, devant le patient, mais aussi en arrière-plan. Donc, le médecin que j'ai pu voir durant cette réunion multidisciplinaire m'a permis justement qu'on pouvait faire une différence dans la vie du patient, dans la vie de sa famille, mais aussi dans la vie des personnes de la communauté. Et c'est quelque chose qui est venu me chercher. Donc, ce que j'ai fait, j'ai toujours poursuivi mes études justement en sciences de la santé à l'Université de Moncton, ce qui m'a permis justement de rentrer en médecine l'année passée. Donc, en rentrant en médecine, bien entendu, on le sait tous, ça prend de l'excellence, ça prend des bonnes notes. Donc, juste le fait de rentrer pour moi, ça a été un grand accomplissement, je vous dirais. Mais c'est un accomplissement aussi qui est venu avec un grand défi pour moi. Un défi auquel j'attendais mon premier enfant, qui, dans 2 jours, justement, va avoir 6 mois, dont je suis très fier. Merci. Thank you. Donc, bien entendu, la question s'est posée. Comment je vais faire pour concilier cette vie de jeunes parents et étudiants en médecine? Vous savez, des études qui nous demandent beaucoup. Et c'est là qu'est rentrée justement en question la Fondation médicale du Nouveau-Brunswick. C'est là que la Fondation, justement, est intervenue pour moi. Cette année, j'ai reçu une bourse, justement, de la Fondation qui m'a permis qui m'a aidé non seulement financièrement, mais qui a permis aussi de couvrir mes frais de scolarité pendant toute l'année et qui allège beaucoup sur mes épaules, mais qui me permet aussi de me concentrer davantage sur mes études et sur ma famille, d'ailleurs, et dont j'en suis très reconnaissant. En regardant de l'avenir, mon objectif, bien entendu, c'est de demeurer justement au Nouveau-Brunswick et d'y travailler en tant que médecin de famille. De pouvoir redonner justement à cette communauté nouveau-brunswickoise qui m'a tant donné. Tout et autant en participant activement dans l'amélioration des soins de santé, en les écoutant, en étant là pour eux, faisant preuve d'empathie, comme les soins de santé et la communauté l'a été aussi pour moi. Donc, encore une fois, sans vous tenir plus, j'aimerais remercier justement la Fondation d'éducation médicale du Nouveau-Brunswick, car ce sont des gens comme vous qui donnent le privilège aux personnes comme moi de réaliser leurs rêves. Merci.
Merci à vous deux d'avoir partagé vos belles histoires. Puis Jeff, je pense qu'en regardant l'avenir, ce soir, ce que ça nous permet de voir, c'est l'espoir. Vous êtes notre espoir. Last year, the province of New Brunswick announced a $2.5 million contribution to the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation. These funds were used to establish the New Brunswick Department of Health Scholarship, providing return to service scholarships to 67 students in 2024, totaling over $500,000 in tuition relief. Would Dr. Simon please join me back on stage? And will the team from the Department of Health please make their way to the donor corner to recognize these recipients? We have a long list. So we're just going to ask that you please hold your applause until all recipients are named. Hey, Jennifer. So the New Brunswick Department of Health Scholarships. Erin Noel Gallardo. It's counterintuitive, I know. Once I get rolling, you'll understand why. Abdelatif Giroundij. Abraham Levin. Alana Bonsack. Alex Smith. Amélie Cormier. Angela Levski. Anna Miller. Anna-Michelle Alla. Benjamin Peterson. Brooke Lynn Richards. Caitlin Riordan. Caitlin Harper. Chantal McLean. Claudia Martin. Claudie Pelletier. Clément Degrasse. Connor O'Brien. Damien Robichaud. David Leblanc. Danishta Ambwani. Drew Langille. Emily Jarvis. Emily Vale. Emma Vibert. Erica Little. Erin Andrew. Esther Yee. Étienne Saint-Aubin. Ève Chiasson. Florence Lévesque. Gay Hee Jung. Gabrielle Landry. Haley Burns. Isabella Lemar. Jade Pitre. James Craig Paddle. Jeff Gressot. Jenna Alquada. Joël Brideau. Josiane Comeau. Julie Gallia. Kaylee Dugas. Kevin Kostinsky. We're missing some room here on the stage, eh? Kiera Dolan. Laurence Basque. Lee Lei-Jin. Lindsay Kearney. Logan Grossman. Marc-Francis Paquette. Martin Andrew Whitman. Maude Couturier, Michael Conley, Minji Choi, Morgan Nesbitt, Natasha Leblanc, Natasha Vatcher, René Daniel Godette, Shannon Mayer, Shaughnessy Riordan, Simon Olivier Friolet, Siam Nur Mohamed Mohindin. Hope I got that one right. Sonia Nari, Soufiane Faridi, Véronique Duguay, Victoria Lutz. Congratulations! They all wanted to applaud so much. It's okay. We'll continue. So thank you for your patience. Merci de votre patience. Please join me once again in giving them a warm hand of applause. Did we take the picture? That is going to be a process in itself. It might take a minute. Yeah, maybe you could go and take the picture with them. Okay, somebody has to sit in the chairs. There we go. It's like a family picture. All right, so we're going to continue on as they take this beautiful family picture here on the side. Les lauréats de ce soir forment un groupe extraordinaire, talentueux et accompli. When they apply to the Brunswick Medical Education Foundation each year, they share so much more than their resume or transcript. And I must say, if you go on the link, if you go on the website, you click on the little QR code, you can actually see the biography and see the history of each and every recipient this evening. It's wonderful work from the team, and it really gives you such a beautiful sense of where they're coming from. Ils partagent les expériences qui les ont façonnés, leur passe-temps et leur passion. Passions that include, in at least one case, music? No. Poetry. So please welcome to the stage RBC, our presenting sponsor, to introduce 2024 recipient and poet, Mansa Agbaku.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again so much to the Foundation for having Royal Bank here this evening and allowing us to be up on stage with so many dollars. I am absolutely astounded with all the recipients tonight. It's been such a privilege to attend this evening and also to talk a little bit about RBC Foundation and our current $6 billion initiative. And I wish I had a team to write me a fancy speech, actually, right now. Maybe I didn't have the budget for that. But I was just trying to think about how that actually translates into our community here locally, because certainly that amount of funding can't stay in the province of New Brunswick alone. But RBC over the years has really been focused on healthcare as an issue in our communities, not only for the health of our residents alone, but also for attracting employees to come to our town. And I'm going to say the thing that they don't want me to say. I am born and raised in St. John, New Brunswick, but I moved away. And it wasn't because of something specific, but the drive to come back to my home province was true and alive in my heart, and I am so energized to see the healthcare opportunities across the stage here this evening, knowing that that will help drive continued growth in our community. I didn't have to Google the City of St. John either tonight. It may have helped me navigate some of the construction, but I won't speak negatively about the positive changes in our community here tonight. I did want to take this time to introduce a poet this evening. So Mansa Agbaku is a second-year medical student attending Dalhousie Medicine, New Brunswick. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from the University of New Brunswick and a Master of Science in Occupational Therapy from McGill University. Mansa is currently a member of the CAMSA advocacy team and was also elected by DMNB students as the NB external liaison. So prior to medical school, she was an inaugural member of the Girls STEM Up Conference, and outside of school, Mansa enjoys karaoke, poetry, and softball. So please join me in welcoming her to the stage this evening.
Hello, everyone. These lights are very bright. So I wrote this poem quite a few years ago. I wrote it in my last year of high school, and it is my dad's favorite poem of mine, and he's here today, so I said, this is the one that I'm going to do. I came out of the womb sweltering, with veins filled to bursting of turbulent, rich blood, the roots of my ancestors living freely in my naughty hair, and it was summer. A season containing blueprints that depicted sticky air and sweat-soaked new beginnings. I danced with my father on a rusty apartment balcony, which overlooked a parking lot that souped-up Jettas and loud Pontiacs called home. In the evenings, Sam Cooke could be heard throughout the buildings, and our neighbors would collectively nod their heads and whisper in unison, I was born by a river. We came from a city where love came in such abundance that it was hard to believe there were children out there who wouldn't recognize the word family. Our village pumped our mother tongue like rich blood in the healthiest of hearts. You could hear syllables pounding like a beat, and we sat together around a large wooden table that had battle wounds in the form of scratches and nicks. Many families had made their mark on this table, and we ate meat with both hands there. Music would float through the air like dandelion seeds in the summer breeze, and once the words reached our ears, it was like a quenched thirst in the Sahara, you see. We all spoke the language of Chapman. She was as universal as they came, and I would make it my duty to wash the dishes that had accumulated in the sink, each one resonating a satisfied clink when added to the small mountain. We would sleep with bellies full and hair that reeked of home, succumbing to sleep only when exhausted in the best way, like a child coming home from the playground at sundown. The women, they carry their families on their shoulders, and they do it with such grace, it's a mystery how their backs don't snap in half like bonfire twigs. These women are the world's eighth wonder. Their skin is made of staggering strength, and the men have skin on their hands reminiscent of burlap, and they carry with them amazing versatility. Gentle enough to hold a child's hand, yet maintain enough strength to defend their family's honor. These are hands that have seen rough times, hands that have worked hard to be where they are and remember everything it took to get them there. My father swallowed his life for me. My mother misses home. I am the product of my mother and father's determination, coupled with a love that could not be deteriorated by the unfair elements of a cruel, cruel world. A love that was strengthened even more so by two hands intertwined in the middle of the night in a country one world over, when they had little more in mind than the idea of that long sought-after better life. The two waved goodbye to their familiar neighborhood to cradle their daughters in a barely recognizable city where the only thing we were rich in was melanin, but still. They made sure that I drifted off to sleep knowing that a change was going to come, and we talked about revolutions. Don't you know, we're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. You know, when I look closely at my mother and my father, I see people who love me with the power of 1,000 sons, who are dressed to the nines in double-digit sacrifices with twin towers of burden built up on their shoulders. When I let my eyes travel downward, I see knees that have bent together like paper clips for me to stand on. And if you look close enough, I promise you will also find someone who has been folded in half in the hopes that you would someday walk tall enough or stand straight enough that your spine would never bend in pursuit of your wildest dreams.
Thank you, Mensa. That's very powerful and touching. And I maybe take an opportunity here to say hi to your dad. Is he in the room? All right. And to take the opportunity to maybe have all the parents and family members that are supporting these recipients to maybe stand so that we can acknowledge them and say thank you to them as well. So proud, so proud. We could not do what we do without the support of our families. And Mansa, you said that so well and so poetically. Thank you. Now please welcome Alyssa Long, Executive Director, to deliver the evening's closing remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, whether in person or virtually, to celebrate with the future of medicine in New Brunswick. One of my greatest pleasures is reading through the student applications every year. I'm not on the grants committee. I have no deciding power, but I have the access, so I love to read. And in every one of the 196 applications, eligible applications that came in this year, were extraordinary and inspiring stories. The people in this room and the people joining us online who have chosen to pursue a career in healthcare are taking on an unbelievable challenge, whether an academic challenge or the workload or the fact that they will be making decisions one day that are life and death. And I respect that totally, and I admire you for this. You are going to make a profound impact. And just to give you a sense of the diversity of the students we are supporting this year, our recipients are coming from 47 different hometowns in New Brunswick. Between them, they share 33 master's degrees, untold undergraduate degrees, hundreds of research publications. We are supporting 38% of this year's recipients who are enrolled in French language university programs. We know that when they graduate and when they are out in the workforce, they are going to do incredible things. Now, last year when I was on this stage, I shared the Foundation's origin story, and it is such an important origin story that I want to reiterate it quickly for you now. So back in 2010, our founder, Dr. Donald Craig, who, after about 40 years in practice as a family physician, began to look toward his own retirement and became increasingly concerned that there was not an influx of new young physicians who might be able to take over his patients. At the time, Dalhousie Medicine New Brunswick was about to open its doors. So he, looking at the other recruitment initiatives in the healthcare ecosystem, saw that many of the efforts were siloed, many were costly, and the results were varied. So he approached Dalhousie Medicine New Brunswick with a new, completely innovative idea. What if, rather than engaging physicians who were practicing elsewhere, whether outside the province or internationally, what if we engaged the medical students right here from New Brunswick and provided them with a financial incentive to not only make their studies easier, but to bring them here, to ask them to commit to New Brunswick? The university at the time said, "That's a great idea. Why don't you take it on?" So he did. And what came to be the New Brunswick Medical Education Foundation was formed. As Dr. Simon alluded to earlier this evening, in that first year, 3 scholarships were awarded, totaling $25,000 in support. With $1.1 million awarded this evening, we have far surpassed what the initial vision was, and we are continuing to make an extraordinary impact. As Dr. Simon said, 150 nearly years of pledged service have been attained just tonight. But when we look at the long-term impact, that's going to be decades and decades of service for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of New Brunswickers. Since inception, this organization has supported 318 students through 723 scholarships, 723 pledged years of service for New Brunswick. It's really extraordinary, and it is because we stand on the shoulders of giants. Without founders like Dr. Donald Craig, Dr. David Marr, or Ron Etterbridge, we would not be here today. Without supporters, the early supporters, like AstraZeneca, who's been here since almost the beginning, or Horizon Health, we would not be here. And we would not be here without the donors who continue to step up just last year, like Tantramar, like Envision St. John, who continue to create scholarships. Now, we have come a long way, and that deserves to be celebrated. But we also have a long way to go. My colleagues Natalie and David and I, we are working to close the gap. Because as a foundation, we are able to award right now about 75% of the students who apply for funding each year. That's extraordinary. That makes us one of the largest scholarship programs in the country, and we are very proud of that. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we could say that we are able to commit to every New Brunswick student who is willing to commit to this province and these people here in this room, in our provinces, and in our communities? Wouldn't that be an extraordinary thing? So you will hear going forward the tagline, Doctors for NB. You have a pin on your table, Doctors for NB, and you'll see that we've recently launched an apparel line called Doctors for NB. Proceeds from all apparel sold on our website will go towards helping us bring even more scholarships to the table and secure even more years of support for this beautiful, beautiful province. There are lots of ways that you can become involved. If you're interested, if you want to help us, it's not just about scholarships, though they are probably my favorite part, so please talk to me about scholarships. But whether you want to volunteer, whether you want to become a champion and help us share the message, check out our annual report, check out our monthly giving community. Any little bit of interest is a spark that will hopefully fan into a flame, because our mission is to ensure that all New Brunswickers have access to timely, quality, and reliable health care. We want a future where every New Brunswicker has access to a physician, a nurse practitioner, and primary care when they need it most. So with that, I just want to say for a final time, congratulations to this year's recipients, and thank you to the donors, the supporters, the members of our board of directors, to Natalie and David, our staff, to your loved ones, and as Dr. LeBlanc said, to the loved ones who come in and support these medical students every day. It means the world. Your support means the world to the students, so please keep it up, and it is a pleasure to see you all. I look forward to what we can accomplish together.
Thank you, Alyssa. Congratulations again to our recipients, and thank you, audience members here and those attending virtually, for your time and attention. Félicitations encore une fois à tous nos lauréats. Again, the sponsors of tonight's celebrations are Mrs. and Mr. Faye and David Hustis, AstraZeneca, RBC, Envision St. John, NAAS Immigration Services, MD Financial Management, Wells Private Wealth Management, the Community of Creative Citizens, and Joel McHenry, Exit Realty Specialists. In addition, we have enjoyed a beautiful venue and food courtesy of Delta Hotel St. John, AV and live stream support by Encore, photography by Kelly Lawson, wonderful family picture up there, and decorations provided by Spur. De nombreuses personnes ont contribué à la planification et à la réalisation de cet événement. Nous espérons que vous vous joindrez à nous l'année prochaine et que vous partagerez votre expérience avec vos amis, vos familles et vos collègues. Before we conclude the live stream and make our way to the mezzanine for a little dessert reception, we have a little surprise performance to close our evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. John Fisher and the St. John Youth Orchestra. The St. John Youth Orchestra is the advanced performing ensemble of Sistema New Brunswick's St. John Centre. The youth orchestra pushes students to broaden their musical horizons through the learning and performing of orchestral music. As many of you know, Sistema NB is a free, daily, after-school program that inspires children to achieve their full potential. Children learn how to play an instrument and experience the joy of being part of an orchestra. Conçus pour être amusants et engageants, ces enfants acquièrent des compétences utiles de la vie courante tout en s'épanouissant musicalement. So for those attending in person, you're welcome to go grab some dessert and rush back to your seats into the ballroom to enjoy the concert. As they set up, we'll just go for the dessert. Les personnes présentes en personne sont invitées de prendre un dessert et à revenir dans la salle de bal pour profiter du concert. But before we go, to those joining us online, we will continue to broadcast until the performance is complete. Merci. And to the dessert before the concert. What a wonderful closure to our celebration. Such talent. Thank you so very, very much for this beautiful concert that you've offered us tonight. And thanks, Lisa, for the surprise. I think it was greatly appreciated by all. We just had a wonderful evening, and as I was just reflecting on the evening, I thought, geez, this is so wonderful. We have art, we have music, we have poetry, we have science, all together here in New Brunswick, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful evening. So on that note, once again, congratulations, félicitations, thank you, merci, and safe travel to all your home destinations this evening. Bonne fin de soirée. Merci. Thank you.